guys, it's Saria. So today's video has been a highly requested one. I'm going to be showing you guys how I made these Fiti and Tekha inspired ears. These are some of my favorite ears I've ever made for myself, but I did make them before I had a channel, so I did recreate these and have a tutorial for you guys. I did recreate them from things in my craft room already because obviously we can't really run to the craft store right now, so hopefully you guys have this stuff on hand so you can make these gorgeous ears. And without any further ado, let's jump into this tutorial. So first thing is you're going to need some, I'm using cardboard, but actually if you have like foam poster board, that works a little bit better for this particular type of ear, but cardboard can work. And then you're going to need the foam and batting template that I have in the description box below for you guys. We're going to be using this one and the ear cutting line template, so you will need to print them and cut them out. And then you're going to trace 2 of these onto the cardboard and cut them out. You only need 2 for this particular set of ears. And then for the fabric, I'm using this red kind of oil slick looking fabric that I got from Joann's a while back. And then I'm using the ear cutting line template. I am tracing 2 of these onto the fabric. Mine has an arched bottom, but the one in the description box has a flat bottom. The flat bottom one does work better, so go ahead and use that one. Again, you're going to trace 2 of these and then cut them out. And once you have them cut out, you're going to lay your fabric down with the right side down against the table and the cardboard on top of the wrong side. Does that make sense? So like the front part of your ear you want down on the table, and then you're just going to line the ear with a little bit of hot glue and fold over your fabric onto this. I didn't show this part, but if you're worried about gluing your hands, tweezers actually work really well for this. You can just grab the fabric with the tweezers and then pull it down onto the ear where the hot glue is. And then I also suggest working in sections on this because the hot glue will dry if you do it all over the ear sometimes before you can get to that section. Also for these ears, you're going to pull your fabric tight. We are not going to be stuffing these with any kind of fluff like we have in the past on my channel. So go ahead and pull the fabric tight, and you're going to glue around all of these sides, so you don't need to leave the bottom open for these. The next step on the Tekha side is taking some black felt. I just got a piece from Walmart for 33 cents or something like that. Again, this is something I already had in my home, but if you're needing supplies, order them online. But you're just going to cut kind of scraps of the felt to create kind of like that cracked lava look that Tekha has. The first time I made these, I made the pieces a little bit closer together. This time around I kind of widened them just to see which one I liked better. I think they both look good, it's just kind of personal preference. I did lay all of them out first and then started gluing them, but I'll be honest with you guys, you might just want to cut a couple at a time, glue them down, and then kind of alternate between gluing and cutting, because you're going to see in a minute as I'm trying to glue them down, the ones that I have just laying there waiting to be glued kind of would get shifted around. And then I just ended up wiping them all off and just gluing them on one piece at a time. So like I said here, I just wiped off what wasn't glued down, and then I just kind of went piece by piece. I did totally forget where I had things, and I just rearranged them as needed. But the good thing about this is that it doesn't need to look perfect. If you want to make it like a perfect puzzle, that is totally your call, but I don't find it's necessary. I think it actually looks more accurate with it being imperfect. And this is what the first take-off side is looking like when it's done. Now we're going to move on to the Fiti side. So I basically just grabbed a bunch of different flowers and floral things from my craft room that I had on hand. And then this is the one thing that I will say like I needed, and I already had it because I was planning on making these way before the quarantine. But it's basically this little like Greenery mini bush thing. I got it from the wedding section at Hobby Lobby, and I'm just pulling out sprigs of it and then cutting them down. So you are going to need some of these cut down just into 2 leaves, and some of them cut into stems of like stacked on top of each other of 4 or stacked on top of each other of 6. I use all different heights because I think that it gives it a much prettier texture. The first few that I glued down, I did glue down standing straight up, but I am going to show you guys what I think ended up looking a little bit better in just a second. So this is the part that I ended up liking a little more, is by taking the leaves and gluing them flat down just around the perimeter of the ear. I felt like it covered up the red a little bit better, and it also gave me a little more control for how much they poked out behind the takeoff side. So again, I just decided to glue them kind of all around the perimeter and then go back in and fill it in with a little bit of different heights and different directions and things like that. And then from here, I just kind of continued this tactic of stacking them and gluing them and just filling in any bald spots that I saw as I went. And this is the Fiti side at this point. So now we're going to go ahead and attach these to the headband. Now, one of these sides for take-off I did leave blank, and I'm going to show you why in a moment. But before we add these to the headband, I'm just going to add these little, I don't know what to call these, but they're on that little greenery bush I showed you guys earlier. They're just like long strings, I guess. Again, just giving it kind of another added element of texture. Fiti has a lot of texture in her design, and I kind of wanted to emulate that as much as we could. So now, taking both of the ears that I've made, my headband and my ear spacing template, I'm going to go ahead and line these up and add them on. So I just kind of use the spacing template as a guide, and then I take a brown Sharpie and I'm just going to mark where the ear needs to start, take my ear and apply a pretty good amount of hot glue. Now I want the excess to go toward the leaves because that will hide it a little bit better, but it's okay if it oozes out. We're going to cover that up in just a second. Now I'm going to firmly press this down onto the headband and give it a good amount of time to set the glue because you don't want these to fall off or be wobbly or floppy when you're wearing them. And then I'm just going to reinforce in a couple spots with a little bit more hot glue. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now I decided not to do the Tekha pattern on this side just yet because I'm going to add a felt strip on the bottom in order to reinforce the ear. Because I used cardboard and not a foam poster board this time around, I just wanted to make sure that these were really secure. So I'm just doing a line of hot glue and then taking a very thin strip of that black felt and adhering it to both the ear and the headband just for that extra layer of security. Now you can do this after you've made the Tekha ears. You really can't see it very much, but if you don't want it to overlap anywhere on your design, then I would suggest doing what I'm doing on the other ear, which is laying down this strip first, then going back and adding in all the cracked lava felt pieces. So again, just adding some hot glue and then tapping down this felt piece and snipping off your excess. That's going to really add a layer of security for your ear. And then I will go in and I will add all my little felt pieces. So the next part I'm going to show you guys is adding the flowers. These are all the flowers that I had on hand. I was a little bit sad because I'm going to show you guys the first pair I made at the end of the video. I just had like the perfect flowers the first time I made this set of ears. This second time filming it for you guys, I had to use what I had on hand. So I have these little pink flowers that I got from Walmart. That's these larger ones that I'm gluing on right now. It came in a very large stem. I actually used the white version of these in my Meg ears that I did a little over a year ago. I love them. They are very beautiful, but they're just not quite as Fiti as I wanted them to be. And then the rest of these flowers that I'll be adding are all from Dollar Tree, with the exception of the very last piece that I add, which I will point out to you guys when it happens. Okay, so all of the flowers up until this little piece of what looks like a miniature fern have been from Dollar Tree. These little green fern-like leaves that I'm adding on are actually kind of rubbery silicone-y material. I got these from the wedding floral section at Hobby Lobby forever ago, and I've just kind of been holding onto them for this project. And how I decided to do these was having them kind of hang down on the sides of the headband. I thought it looked really beautiful on. By the way, just a tip, I usually add in a few flowers and then I put the headband on, check it in the mirror, and then add more from there. I would suggest just looking at it on your head as you're going because it gives you a really good idea of exactly what it's going to look like. And that's pretty much it for all of the florals. Like I said, check it as you're going and just see. The good news is these do come off if you need them to, but you will have to replace them with something, otherwise you might see a little hot glue left over. So this is the Fiti side and what it looked like when it was all done, and this is the Teca side. I love these ears. They are some of my favorite pairs I've ever made. When I wore these in the parks, these were the ones that got a ton of attention. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions for me, leave them for me in the comments below. And now I'm going to show you guys the original pair I made and the floral selections that I made for that pair. So I got these kind of hot pink Hawaiian looking flowers, as well as this really cool piece of like mossy material that doesn't shed. That's from Hobby Lobby. And then some purples and some oranges. But other than that, they are the exact same method and ears. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.